Hello everybody and welcome back to Juno New Origins, where apparently all of our contracts are with this guy. This is actually interesting here. There's a lot of CubeSat missions here. I'm wondering if we can do these all in one launch. That would be remarkable if we could. So this would be 7, 8, 8, and 12. Okay. So we'd be going in basically 7, then these 8, then these 8, then these 12. It would be very tedious to get those all put in and assigned, for sure. But I kind of want to do it. That's a lot of pay, and if we can lift these all in one go, that would be amazing. So let's hop in here. I want to make some alterations to our current setup here. Now, our starting thrust to weight is 2.08, and I feel like that's reasonably fine. Let's pop our fairing off and get these small sats removed. And we're going to need to put in CubeSats instead, and we're going to need a lot of them. So in total, we know that we are going to need a whole bunch of these, and we're going to need some stages for them as well. We'll see how viable it is to do all of these in one launch, but, I mean, we can certainly do a good number of them. So this is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. We know we need a grand total of how many? So 7 plus 8 is 15, and then 8 plus 12 is 20. So we need 35. This is 15. Okay, so I guess, sure, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35. Okay, so that would be the idea there. 35 CubeSats. And then we put the fairing on top. And this is still less mass than what we had previously. So that seems reasonably fine. What is the highest altitude that these need to go to? So the highest altitude is 12.4 megameters. That's pretty high. And that's 12 sats. Okay. So these 7 would be our first stage here. So we're going to need to look at our staging here. So we've got 37 payloads here. Yeah, we're definitely going to need those to be moved out into another stage. Actually, it's 35 payloads. That is correct. Okay, so we're going to need stage 6, 7, and 8. And I'm not sure if we're allowed to have 8 stages right now. We'll have to figure that out. But stage 6 is going to need to be... We know that this is going to need to be 8. Like that. This is going to be a grand total of 8 as well. There we go. And then this stage is going to need 12. Like that. Okay, now each of these are going to have to be assigned to their correct to their correct position, right? So that's all fine. This is auto recalculation. I'm going to turn that off, actually. I would prefer to manually do the stages. So that seems fine. The question is, do we have the delta V to get this up to where it needs to go? And we also need to assign these to their correct to their correct contracts. And that's going to be a very tedious thing to do, because we're going to need to determine where each of these... Okay, let's remove this fairing for now. We're going to need to determine each and every one of these, then select it, and then assign it on different screens. And we need to know which CubeSat mission this is. So, the CubeSat mission that we're going for right now, this first mission is this one. But which one is this? This is contract number 47. This is going to be very tedious indeed. So, this is assigned to 47. That is correct. This is assigned to 47. This is the same one. Hang on. We need this one assigned. So this has to be 47. Next up would be this one. That's 47. And then it would be this guy, which would also be assigned to contract 47. This is very tedious. I hope they eventually create a better way to do this, because yikes. Okay, so the next one would be this guy, 47, and that's 6 payloads assigned to that. So then the final one would be this one assigned to 47. Okay, so that is correct. The next contract should be this one. That's the next... actually, this periapsis is awkward. Plus or minus 796 kilometers. This periapsis is very awkward. So we're going to have to alter our periapsis for this mission a fair amount. And that means that we're going to have to come back down on our apoapsis a fair amount as well. Unless we wanted to do this as a separate mission. Which might not be the worst idea in the world. Okay, so let's do this one last, I think. Maybe not. Maybe we'll do it just in this order. Okay, so then next would be this mission, which is contract number 67. Okay, so we need to go into... all of these should be assigned now. We need to go into here, and we need to grab this guy. This will be for contract number 67, like that. Then I wish we could do this on this entire payload level. Assign all payload to contract. That would be so nice. Alas, we cannot do that. So, let's see. We need to be in here, I think. No, this is correct. Yeah. So it's then this one, and it just goes around in a circle here. Noted. So this is going to be number 67. This is 67. This is 67. That's 67. We need 8 total here. So that's 6, 7, and 8. Okay. So now the next one is going to be these payloads here. And this one does kind of jump around a bit. Okay. So it's going to be this guy. This is going to be assigned to the next payload up. We need to decide at this point, are we going to do this one before this one? And I think the answer is yes, but it's going to be awkward. And I'm not sure we're going to have the Delta V. We'll see how that goes. But this needs to be contract number 65. Okay. So this is going to be CubeSat mission number 65. There we go. And then we can grab this guy, which is also going to be number 65. Okay. And then this one is CubeSat mission number 65. I really wish there was a better way to do this. This is definitely tedious. Okay, so the next one here would be this one, I guess. 65, there we go. And then it would be this one. So that's 6 set to 65. So I guess the next one would be this guy. That's 7. And then finally, it would be, in theory, this one. Unless I made a mistake. Which I guess we'll never know. That'll be interesting. So the rest of these should all be assigned to the final highest location. So this guy will go up there. So this is going to be number 68. And then this one will be also number 68. As will this. Okay, and then we would need this guy next. There we go. Followed by this one. This is definitely... There needs to be a better way to do this. No doubt about that. So that's number 68 there, and then it would be this one would be assigned to number 68. Okay. And then this guy would also be assigned to mission number 68, followed by this one. That's 9. So this guy would be the next one. 10. So then this one. And finally, in theory, this one. We need to go in here, and that's already assigned. Okay, we missed one. Is it the one up at the very top? Yes, it is. Okay, good. So that is all of them theoretically assigned. Now the question is, can we have 8 stages? Let's save this craft. Actually, let's put the fairing back on. And then let's save the craft. And let's put this out on the pad here. This is going to be not that much more expensive. The question is, do we have the DV to get this up high enough and do the maneuvers that we need to do? So we're going to put this out on the alley pad. It didn't throw any fits about the staging. So in theory, hopefully that's okay. And at this point, we need to do this guy. So we need to get to an altitude of 2867 kilometers and 90 kilometer periapsis. So I'm going to set our pitch over to about 60 degrees. And let's go. Excellent. The question is, does this have enough DV to get this to where we need it to go? And I'm not convinced it does, to be honest with you. But we'll see. So we're going to be losing our side boosters soon enough. We could definitely ramp up the side boosters if we really wanted to. But we'll see. Maybe that'll be a thing. Also, one thing that I've noted is that this number of engines gets pretty loud. So I'm actually going to go into audio and turn down the sound volume a little bit, down to maybe 33%. Okay, that should be hopefully a little less loud. Cool. So we're going to be losing our side boosters shortly. They are still burning for right now. Eventually. They're still burning a little bit. There we go. Cool. Now our main SRB here is burning out. It's still got about 10% fuel, so we can get some altitude from it, but this doesn't get us horizontal speed. We don't have any turn authority on this right now. So that's definitely a bit of an issue, but I want to bring this all the way over to 0 degrees right now. And our next stage here is going to be the interstage and firing up these engines. That is correct. Okay, so we are out of fuel for this. There we go. And we're just going to bring this right on over. We're at 70 kilometers right now. I don't want to ditch this fairing until we hit 80, but that'll be right about now. Goodbye, fairing. So the next staging is going to be staging some of these CubeSats. But of course, we need to get to our correct orbit first. So that's all absolutely fine. We need to build up a lot of orbital velocity here. We can see our current thrust to weight is 1.17, and we've got about 5.5 kilometers per second of DV here. So hopefully that's enough DV. Our thrust to weight is a little on the low side if we wanted to extend this tank, but we might have to do that. We might have to extend that tank a little bit. If we do that, we should probably strengthen up our side boosters slightly to compensate. So we can see that currently we are how far to our apoapsis? 2.2 minutes. That's definitely going down right now, but you can see our orbital velocity is starting to increase, so that's good. Overall, our lateral velocity will be overtaking our vertical velocity very shortly here. And that is exactly what we want to see. We want to get our lateral velocity pushed out quite a lot here. So it's crossing over right now. We now have more lateral speed than we do vertical. And we're now 1.9 minutes from the apoapsis here. The main question is, do we have the delta V to get this to where it needs to go, or do we need to strengthen this rocket to do all of these in one go? And I wouldn't be surprised if we need to strengthen this rocket, to be honest. But I want to see exactly how far this gets us. So we're now 1.7 minutes to the apoapsis, and we definitely want to be boosting that apoapsis up. We're just getting as much lateral speed as we can. We're up to 1.3 kilometers per second, so that's looking decent. We do need another like 1.5 to get into orbit, but that is fine. How are we doing right now on our stage delta V? Well, we've got about 4 kilometers per second left, 4.25. So that is looking okay. We can see that our periapsis is starting to come up quite a lot. And that's understood. The question is, what are we going to get to for the periapsis here? We might have to coast around to the periapsis and raise up the apoapsis from there. 90 kilometers is pretty low. But we'll see what that looks like. We're crossing 2 kilometers per second of orbital velocity. That looks fine. And we can see we're 84 seconds to apoapsis is actually going back up now. So we're absolutely fine on that front. No issues there. I am concerned about our fuel count, though. No doubt about that. Well, we'll see how it goes. Once we get into orbit, that's the vast majority of what we need. The vast, vast majority. And it would just be small amounts get you a very long way. So that looks fine for now. We're going to be crossing orbital velocity very soon here. And we're pushing that apoapsis on out. But we don't want to get our periapsis up above 90 here. Okay, I'm throttling us down a bit here because we're targeting the periapsis being at 90. We're at 70 right now. That's 80, and little further. That's 90. Okay, so this periapsis is where we want it to be. Now we're going to need to push this apoapsis out. So at the periapsis here, we're going to want to push that apoapsis out to 2867. So that is going to be about... The way that this snaps is very difficult to actually get it precise, but somewhere around there. That's going to be 644 meters per second. We are going to still have about 2 kilometers per second after we do that. Okay, let's lock to the planned burn. We don't appear to be turning. We have gyroscope in this, right? I'm not convinced we do. Well, let's warp around and see what happens. Oh, we're locked to the planned burn now. Okay, sure. So we're going to commence this planned burn, and this is going to finish CubeSat mission number 47. Okay, so that all looks good. Next up is going to be 65. Okay, so now we're going to lock to prograde, and we're just going to detach the CubeSats. Boom. So that is completed. Next, we need to do this mission, and that is going to be... Actually, this counts for the apoapsis. So we just need to raise our periapsis to 1609. What mission are these assigned to? I'm pretty sure they're assigned to 67 here. I'm pretty sure. So we need to raise our apoapsis again here. So we need to planned burn at periapsis. Our periapsis is fine for this mission, and we need to raise this to 6617. So that is going to be about... here or so. We're going to call that good. That is 271 meters per second. Okay, so let's warp around and position for that. There we go. Let's get that burn completed. The real question here, I'm quick saving here in case we're doing this in the wrong order, but I don't think we are. The real question here is, do we have this correctly selected? So now we should just need to detach the CubeSats here. Okay. So next up should be, I believe, CubeSat mission 65. So now we're going to need to pull back on our apoapsis a little bit here, and then our periapsis is going to have to be raised up. Okay, so at the apoapsis, we're going to want to raise our periapsis to 1609 plus or minus 796. So that's going to be something like this. That's a fair amount of DV. That's 272 meters per second. And how much do we have left? 1.72 kilometers per second? Okay. Well, let's warp around to that and get that burn completed. So that'll get our periapsis where it needs to go. Then we're going to need to back off on our apoapsis a little bit. Okay, so at the periapsis, I want to pull this back to 4470, which that should be close enough. We'll execute that burn. There we go. And now we need to detach these CubeSats. I'm going to quick save again just in case we have the wrong one selected. But we didn't. Beautiful. So next we need to get our apoapsis raised and our periapsis lowered. So at the no, hang on. I wanted to get rid of that maneuver. At the apoapsis, I want to lower our periapsis to 590. So this would be somewhere like this. There we go. And let's do that. So that's 201 meters per second there. How much do we have left? We've got 1.2. We should have enough, I think. And then at the periapsis, we need to push out our apoapsis all the way up to 12.4 megometers, which is actually this. So that's going to be 285 meters per second. So we have the delta V to do this. That's wonderful. Well, let's just head around and do that. Cool. So how much DV do we have left? We've got about 900 is the answer. So that looks great. All we need to do now is detach these CubeSats. And there we go. Perfect. So that should be all of these CubeSats launched now. And that's all of these contracts completed, all in one launch. That was definitely an extraordinarily profitable launch. It's clear that we need to work on some gimbaling up here, but that's fine. So 14.5 million for 1.4, that's 10 times the profit. Like, we made back 10 times the money that cost. So that is absolutely amazing. I love it. We are not going to recover that craft. We're going to just head back in. And I want to check to see about our gyroscope. We should have a gyroscope in this. I'm not convinced that we do. So let's go into here. Volume for gyros. Yeah, we don't have a gyroscope. Let's go ahead and put one in, and that will be fine. Okay. We could also put some solar panels on this in theory, but I'm not sure that we absolutely need that for right now. But that was really, really effective. So that certainly worked. Let's head on out of the designer here, and let's take a quick peek at our contracts that we have available now. Okay, so this is a bunch of small sats, comms sats, and this is CubeSats. Sure. We should probably get this progression done. We probably have the DV to do that based on what we just saw. So a Luna flyby would not be too bad. We don't need to recover this either. We don't need to return. So that sounds good. But it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to see about doing something along those lines. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.